Hi, and welcome to this spotlight video featuring our new InstantKB Active Directory authentication module. What I'm going to be doing with you today is just taking you on a short tour and explanation of what the Active Directory authentication module is really all about and what it provides you as a KB user or administrator. So as you can see, we're at the familiar homepage. This KB has been installed with a copy of the Active Directory authentication module. So there's a couple of differences you're going to notice straight away. If we go to login, you're going to notice this extra checkbox just here, LDAP authentication. By default, this is how the login will work and appear, in that if you wish to log in via Active Directory, a user will need to check this box before logging in. We'll cover more on this shortly. The other thing you're going to notice is that by default, once it's installed, when you go into register, you get these two extra fields here. This means that when your users register a new KB account, they can actually insert their Active Directory username and password for their existing Windows account or Active Directory account, and that account will be bonded to the KB account that they are registering and creating, meaning that they can then go to login, select the LDAP authentication checkbox, and log in using their Active Directory username and password instead of a standard Forms authentication username and password. But what if you don't want your users to re-register, and what if you're an existing KB user who wants to enable Active Directory login for existing users with accounts? Well, we've thought of that too. If we log in ourselves, not via LDAP, as our admin account, go to the admin CP, staff, manage staff, or alternatively manage members, and edit the profile of a member. In this case, I'm going to edit the same administrator account that I'm logged in as. If we scroll down a little bit, you'll notice this bar just here, Active Directory account details. All the administrator need do is pop the Active Directory username of the user whose account they are editing into this text box here, and the user will become paired. So now all we need to do is pop across into our Active Directory server and add a new user account to pair to our admin. So here we are logged into our 2008 server. All we're going to do is go into Active Directory users and computers, normally found within administrative tools, but we have a shortcut on the desktop for ease of use. And we're just going to create a new user. So we load up the console, and right click in space within the users area and select new user. We're going to call this one AD admin. The user logged in, AD admin, and select next. I'm going to specify a password for this. Remove the need to change the password. Password never expires. Next, and finish. For those of you that are already Active Directory administrators, this is kind of going over the 101s, but this is just for those users who have no real experience of Active Directory and want to get more of a feel of what this add-on module is all about. So now, as you can see, AD admin has been added to our Active Directory users and computers list. So here we are back on the Manage Staff page, and as we know, what we're trying to do is get the administrator account to log in via Active Directory instead of via Forms authentication. So let's edit the profile. We've just been into our Active Directory server and created a user called AD admin, and all we do, as I say, is type that name into the form and submit. We've successfully updated our administrative account, so now we can log out. So let's log back in using our new AD credentials. So now I check the LDAP authentication box, and instead of administrator, I type in AD admin, the account that has been paired to the administrator account. I type in the password I specified when I created the Active Directory account, and select login. And you'll notice we're logged in straight away. That's validated against our Active Directory server, and you'll notice that at the top here we are in fact logged in as administrator, not AD admin. This is because all the account details still come from the created account within the KB. It's just that the authentication has now been farmed out to Active Directory to increase security. So that's how you pair an AD user. Let's look at some of the other things that you can do with the InstantKB Active Directory module. So what we're looking at here is the web.config file with the additional block you note just here, which is added or must be added to your web.config in order for the Active Directory module to function correctly. At the top you've got the login enabled function, which defaults to true, which is what allows the Active Directory functionality to appear when you load the KB. I'm not going to go through every setting, but one setting I really do want to look at is required AD group membership. When this is set to true, the users who can authenticate to the KB must be a member of a named Active Directory group. The way you specify the name of the Active Directory group you want to limit KB access to is simply by specifying the required AD group name here. We've defaulted this to InstantKB users, but if you customize this, then it merely changes it. If you wanted to, for instance, change access so that only members of your editorial staff AD group could access the KB, you'll just change that to editorial staff. Below are a few extra options that you may also wish to consider. Enable integrated auto LDAP login. Along with some upcoming documentation, you can configure the KB and Active Directory authentication module to automatically log in users who are already logged into Active Directory on your network. This will allow them to bypass the login step and automatically gain secured and authenticated access to the KB. Although I should note that this does require some additional configuration in Internet Information Services, and this does vary from server to server. Certainly the configuration differences between 2003 and 2008 server are marked in this particular feature. Remember, integrated LDAP login users means that once they have authenticated once, they will be cached to the system and their login will automatically be remembered. This doesn't mean that their login details and their username and password for Active Directory will be remembered. It just means that their authentication will be remembered and the login step can again be bypassed. I wouldn't recommend doing this on external computers or computers that are in a non-secure environment such as outside of your office. Integrated LDAP login users anonymous means that anybody that authenticates via LDAP will actually log in as an anonymous user. If you set this to true, anyone that uses their LDAP username and password to log in will register as anonymous on the system. Validate integrated domain name is an additional security feature as mentioned in the comments. What Validate Integrated Domain Name does is performs extra security checks when users attempt an automatic login. One other setting just to look at, quite near the top here, is Force LDAP Login. If this is set to true, the checkbox that we saw earlier in the login page that enables LDAP login no longer appears, and all logins must be LDAP or Active Directory logins. There's no way to log in with the original Forms authentication username and password. This is especially useful in environments where you only want users who are authenticated to your network or who have accounts on your network to access. Even registration without a valid Active Directory username and password will not enable a user to gain access to your KB on anything other than a guest level. So that gives us a broad overview of the Active Directory module for InstantKB. It's certainly one of the most powerful features we've added, and that's why it's an external add-on. It enables you to increase your security and reduce the number of user names, passwords and accounts that your staff and users need to manage. I hope this has been useful and I look forward to hearing from some of you soon. Until next time, bye bye.